Well, hello there. So, there are obviously many different topics I could talk about on this podcast. I could talk about the recent news of 34 for 45, but I'm not going to get into that today. Instead, we're going to be looking at the digital Q&A landscape from Reddit to Quora and beyond. In case you've ever asked that question, is there a forum where I can go and ask a question and get an answer? So the episode is all about highlighting the exploration of various Q&A platforms while suggesting a journey through both well-known and niche communities. So I'm intending to emphasize the breadth of the discussion, and I invite listeners to discover the unique features of each platform. So, welcome to Critical Weight Theory, and this episode is all about digital inquiry. And I mispronounced the word breadth. I believe. I can't really pronounce the D that well there. But anyway, in this particular episode, we're going to dive into the world of online questions and answers. You know, what's the best platform for asking questions, getting answers, and, how do they operate? And I'll even get into a little bit of history of, some of the most popular ones. So, I'm your host, Wade, and let's get started. So, what are some of the popular Q&A platforms? First up, let's talk about some of the most popular platforms where you can ask questions and get answers from a wide community of users. Well, community can be a misleading term as users don't always get along, but you know what I mean. Anyway, Reddit is one such place. Reddit is often referred to as the front page of the internet, and for a supposedly good reason. That's one of the first pages that will show up when you do an internet search. I'm not sure why exactly that's the case, but sure enough, when you do a search for just about any topic, Reddit is probably going to be one of the first results. It's a massive platform with countless subreddits, as they're called, dedicated to almost any topic you can think of. Subreddits like Ask Reddit, Not Stupid Questions, and Ask Science allow users to ask questions and get answers from a large, diverse community. And I do have to add the caveat that I'm going to say with all of these different forums is that not all of the answers you'll get will be of equal quality. Some of the posts there are probably going to be outright garbage that you'll find. Well, not just some of them, probably at least like a quarter of them. So be on the lookout for that. That's just a very common thing on the internet. Well, it was also true before the internet, let's face it. But whether it was disinformation or misinformation, there's always been some flawed approaches to getting the truth out there. And of course, some of the information you'll find will almost not even be information at all. It'll just be like speculation, which is only tangentially informative. So you'll definitely want to exercise your best judgment when looking at Reddit. I don't actually use it that much, but occasionally I do, look through a Reddit post for some detail or maybe just for entertainment, But whether you're looking for serious advice or just curious about something random, Reddit has a place for you. And, I don't want to make it sound like everything there is trash, but you're going to have to sift through some garbage every once in a while in order to find a gem. And really the same thing is true of Quora, which is my next topic here. I post on Quora. Sometimes I haven't been doing much stuff there lately because I'm busy with other stuff, including I've been serving on a federal grand jury off and on, like once a month. I've had to travel 100 miles to do that. So I don't have as much time to freely write, especially at a place like Quora. But you can become a person who posts there yourself. They've even got a way that you can monetize content if you're interested in that. And I know plenty of people would be, so you might want to look into that if you think you're a qualified person to answer any questions. And some of you will be, you know. But anyway, Quora is another well-known Q&A website where you can ask questions on a wide variety of topics. And of course, you can answer questions. Same thing with Reddit. Users from around the world, including experts in various fields, can contribute detailed answers, or they can just get in a catty arguments with each other. So Quora's stated mission is to share and grow the world's knowledge. Now, not to sound like a negative Nancy again, but it doesn't always work out that way. But, it can be a great place for in-depth and insightful responses. You just have to exercise the same caution that I mentioned about Reddit. But you can actually learn valuable things there. And, I don't want to make it sound like it's all bad. And really, if I did think it was all bad, I wouldn't be posting there myself ever, or reading Quora answers. But you should know that it is pretty, it's informative of some things, but other things it's just like, a game for some people to, like if you're talking about politics, people will make an intentionally divisive question and act as if it's serious, but it can get pretty ludicrous a lot of the time. So be aware of that. It's like just about any one of these online forums, you're going to have to wade through a little bit of muck in order to get somewhere good. So another place, this one I have never used to my memory. I don't think I've ever used this, but it's called Stack Exchange. If you need a more specialized platform, Stack Exchange is a network of communities focused on a specific topic. For example, Stack Overflow is ideal for programming questions, while Super User is great for computer-related issues. The platform is known for its high-quality answers from knowledgeable users. And from what I understand, or from what I've gathered, it's more of a tech-related thing. So, keep that in mind. You're probably not going to find as many interesting topics there as you would at some of these other forums that I've listed. So another place, I believe it's still operating, is called Ask.fm. It's a more social experience, they say, if you want to check that out. It's a platform that allows users to ask and answer questions, often anonymously, making it a fun and interactive way to engage with others, at least potentially. I think Ask has been a little bit controversial because, teenagers can go on there, and, I guess teenagers can go on any of these places, but I think there's been some sort of concerns about that, like, could it be used for bullying or targeting children for this despicable purpose or another? It's something that could be an exaggerated concern, but that's something I've read about when it comes to that place. Moving on from there, because I don't really know that much about that one either. I've never used it. There's another one that I've never used called Just Answer. So I obviously sound like an expert at this, speaking sarcastically there. But just because I haven't used these places doesn't mean, I'm not aware of them or that they couldn't potentially have value for somebody. But, Just Answer, if you're looking for expert advice, Just Answer is a paid service where verified professionals answer your questions. This can be particularly useful for complex or technical queries that require professional input. So, as far as I know, that place is legit. I mean, if you've ever had a bad experience there, or anyone has, I'm sure somebody would, be able to tell you about that. But I've never heard much of anything negative about that place, and it just sounds like it'd be valuable potentially for a person who's needing some professional advice. So, moving on to what's basically like the second segment of my little episode here, I'm going to be talking about the rise and fall of Yahoo Answers. So, I like to take a moment to remember Yahoo Answers. You could maybe picture the in memoriam text above this segment, and the sad, perhaps weepy violin or cello playing in the background. But Yahoo Answers was one of the oldest Q&A platforms on the internet. Yahoo Answers was launched in 2005 and quickly became a go-to site for a wide range of questions. However, the platform was permanently shut down on May 4th, 2021. So, yeah, you maybe can hear taps playing in the background. That sad military tune with the trumpet. Dur, 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 dur. I don't really know how the tune goes, so I'm not going to continue singing it. But leading up to the shutdown, Yahoo disabled the ability to ask new questions or answer existing ones starting on April 20th, 2021. Users were given until June 30th, 2021 to download their data, which included their questions, answers, and any images they posted. Unfortunately, the public archive of questions and answers was not preserved, and all content was lost when the site was shut down. Yahoo Answers, with its 16-year history, is now a part of internet history, with its extensive repository of knowledge no longer accessible. I don't think anybody did that sweeping of a backup of Yahoo Answers. So how sad. Ooh, all that vital information was just swept away like there was a tidal wave. So there are some other notable platforms. Aside from the major players I've discussed, there are several other ones worth mentioning. AnswerBag is similar to Yahoo Answers. It's a site that allows users to ask a wide range of questions and receive answers from the community. It's also like Quora, I suppose, in a way. Then there's Blurtit, which is kind of a silly name. It's an answer Q&A site where users can seek answers to their questions from the community. Why does that sound familiar? Are you noticing a theme here? And, I have to admit that when I see Blurtit, it makes me think of Blurtit. Oh, that's not even a joke. It's just an observation. It just, maybe I have a dirty mind. I don't know. But next up, there's the Student Room. I don't think that one has the best name, but it's a platform that's particularly useful for students seeking academic and career advice. Well, I guess maybe that does make it have a good name. But it's a great resource for anyone navigating their educational journey. Education and life are an adventure, and the Student Room is there to help you along your way like a little guidebook. Isn't that cute? I once went on a student journey myself, and I don't know if I really emerged that much of a learned person, but I did have a massive bill. And fortunately, my student loan debt was forgiven, but that resulted in two tax bills, one for the federal government and one from the state of Michigan. So that's a fun little fact about me, and I'm getting sidetracked here, but talking about education. Moving on, and another one is called specialized, or wait, no, never mind. I'm looking at my notes. I'm going to talk about just generically specialized forums and online communities. So there are countless forums and communities dedicated to specific interests, from tech forums to hobbyist communities, and, some political debate forums. I used to go to a place called Volcanvo back in the day, and that later shut down. But, I had some interesting debates there. I made a few, let's just say, embarrassing talking points and faux pas while engaged in various debates. But it's a learning experience, and luckily for me, those embarrassing moments have apparently been basically scrubbed away. I don't think the site kept all of the archived information, so I don't think I said anything too bad on average, but who knows. I guess the point is when you're engaging in these forums, like if you're giving answers or making comments on somebody's post, you might want to be careful about what you say. So you might not be so lucky. Something you've said might actually come back to haunt you in some way. Or maybe you'll just feel guilty about it and you'll feel haunted in that way. So if you're going to provide answers on some of these forums, make sure that you're competent, at least in a general sense. And if you don't know something, well, don't act as if you do know it. That's really one of the best types of advice I can give if you are trying to become an expert for one of these websites. But a lot of these places, they can provide highly tailored advice and answers. Sometimes they can really help you out when you're in a jam. It's a potentially valuable thing. So for my closing thoughts here, whether you're seeking quick answers to everyday questions or in-depth insights from experts, there's a platform out there for you, most likely. From Reddit's diverse subreddits to Quora's knowledgeable community, and from Stack Exchange's specialized networks to the historical legacy of Yahoo Answers, the internet offers a wealth of resources for curious minds and some curious anecdotes about, people's experiences in life. If you go to Quora and really dig deep, you can find some interesting information that people share about themselves. And, some of it can be deeply embarrassing. Some of it can be like gossip. But at the end of the day, it can potentially enrich your online experience. Boy, I'm sounding corny when I say some of these things. But anyway, each of these platforms has its unique strengths and community norms. So choosing the right one depends on the type of question you have and the kind of answer you're looking for. So thanks for joining me on this exploration of digital inquiry. If you have any questions or suggestions for future episodes, feel free to reach out. Until next time, keep asking, keep learning, and stay curious. Like Curious George. The curious little monkey and the man with the yellow hat. And why did I say all this at the end? I don't know. I've kind of dug myself in the hole. But anyway, look up Curious George on Quora, and maybe you'll enter a nice little rabbit hole of sorts. Anyway, bye-bye.